Hi, I'm htmljones. Thank you for coming to Asian season. How are you guys all doing? Yeah? That sounds good. I rap in English, Tamil, and Japanese, so if there's something that you can't understand, that's probably why. This one's about being a transgender dyke. It's a very unfortunate situation to be in. This one's called, well, it's alright. It's a beautiful place. That's the energy I'm looking for, thank you. This one's called Yuri. We got Kapil Shishtai for guitar on this track. Pluck on my chest, my pool of blood humanity. Bring me to shreds in the next life, come again for me. Digging my flesh, dry me like a child, yeah. This life, no, I'm just flying. Working a job and I'm building my fame. One day feel like picking you name. Stop, unload, venom talent. Stop, offshore, push reset. Can I move out? Can I begin living? Can I cut off? We're living center, it's so dumb, you can't go quickly. Fuck to love, freed up, pre-tag all me. Bro, you do not need to know. Wait, opposite payroll. Time for kids won't run stuff from. Sideman but alone. I know a few tweakers. Gay cracker people on men in the street. And all disrespect, and you think you're back. Wood green's fine, it's totally out of start. With me, out the chant, okay? Free, free! Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Subite kanawanai. Kodomonante onishimata urishimonowanai. Uso tweete akanamana all of my children died. Trick it to finish the mirror, so finish you hate us, so one of us dies. Your plaything, I know numbs of sense, so lean, roll back on no crime. Stare at me, you're mine. You're the love of my life, life, life. You're girl, you're my time, time, time. Pay no mind, mind, mind. You for the skies, skies, skies. Give me a mile. I wish I cried. Pluck out my chest, my pool of blood, your vanity. Bring me to shreds, in the next life come again for me. Digging my flesh, drive me like a child, yeah. This life, no, I'm just flying. I'm lost still on can't work this all alone, all alone. Yuri, thank you.
My name's Eva Echo, and you are watching T4T Network.
Hi everyone, this is Lucy with T4T Network and you're watching Tgirls Make Music. I'm here today with htmljones, aka Ishaani.
Lovely to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming along.
Of course. You've got some questions to ask me.
Yeah, I was wondering about how long you've been making music and how you categorize your like style or genre of music.
So I've always been doing music since I was like 14, 16 in bands and that. I was making my terrible little Bandcamp demos, which will never see the light of day, for a very long time. I made a lot of really shitty indie music and a lot of like really shit kind of chance the rapper style rap.
He was like one of your inspirations to get into rapping then?
Yeah, I really like acid rap, which is like kind of his mixtape from back in the day. I've always listened to like a lot of...
Yeah, I think I've listened to that one.
Yeah, it's like the best one. Like a lot of his other shit's not so good, but I always listened to like Public Enemy and kind of like NWA. My mum put me onto like a lot of kind of American hip hop when I was younger, and I also listened to like Asian Dub Foundation, kind of British Asian artists, and the biggest one for that is MIA. So I think I owe so much of my sound and like inspirations to her, mainly because we're both British Tamil and we're making the same sort of like electronic rap music. So I think even if we were very different people, which unfortunately we are similar people, I don't think that 5G is giving me brain tumors, but we are very similar people apart from that.
So that's what she thinks then?
Yeah, she's like selling the fucking foil hats. Like it's kind of like a
meta
irony slay, but yeah, she's actually selling kind of like tin foil to put yourself in, like the guy from Better Call Saul.
Yeah, Chuck.
Yeah, you know how he's got like the blanket.
Yeah,
she's selling that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, bit of a fall from grace, but she's made some of the best music of the 2000s, I would say.
Baby, you're a thorn in my side, oh yeah. Baby, you're a thorn in my side.
I only really felt like I was able to make good music after I transitioned, to be completely honest.
Why is that?
Because there was so much of like myself that was hidden. So when I did creative expression, it was just kind of filtered through these artifices of dysphoria, which I didn't even realize were there at the time, a lot of the time. But yeah, it just made my work less authentic and less real.
That was actually going to be one of my questions about like, do you think that like creating or performing music has helped you like explore areas of your like gender or sexuality?
Yeah, of course, 100%. I think just on like a very basic level, if you just look at like all of the kind of cultural and art industries, if you look at like where are the feminine men, right? Where are you looking at kind of men with long hair, kind of glam rock, all that sort of shit? I hate that music, right? To be clear, like I'm just a little like hip hop gremlin, but there's so much visible kind of queerness and trans femininity, at least aesthetically, even if it's not like real. Like you look at the guys from Kiss, they all like doing each other's makeup and like they have long hair and shit and nails, and now they're all like Trump Republicans, anti-trans, right? So none of this makes any sense. But I think like there is just such a strong tradition of gender fluidity and gender expression in music specifically, popular music specifically, and I was always attracted to that as a child because I was a little tranny and I wanted to do that shit, you know, stealing my mum's makeup before a show at 16 or whatever. Yeah, classic.
Oh, that's sweet though.
Yeah, I'm sure this is a very common story. I think I hear this a lot from, like, I feel like it's a stereotype that so many trans girls are into electronic music.
Sophie.
Yeah, right? Like,
I can't remember the name of her now, but there's...
Arco?
Yeah, her as well, but there's also someone who in, I think like the 1980s, she made her own synthesizers and things, but I can't remember what her name is. Obviously, I'll put it on screen. But
what is her name? Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. She did like the soundtrack for A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, that sounds right. Maybe Tron or something else as well.
Yeah. But yeah, she won a Grammy. Electronic music is the sort of music that lends itself to being created in isolation on the computer, on the internet, and I think like a lot of trans people have retreated into that, myself included. It can be sometimes like a very solitary experience. Making music in this way or making like very weird electronic music in this way. So I think it does make sense that there is this sort of connection there also to like wider subcultures, like kind of like people who are into anime, furries, all of this I think is connected to, I guess, just like the cultural expression that trans people and especially trans women are doing. It's an exciting thing to be sometimes, even though like being trans is pretty terrible day to day, for me anyway. I think I do really appreciate kind of the sisterhoods and the community of trans women in music. I think it's really important.
So you rap. And you also rap in different languages, right?
That's right, yeah. I rap in English, Tamil, and Japanese mainly. So I speak Japanese pretty fluently, and that's because I'm not ethnically Japanese, but I have Japanese family members, and I also speak Tamil because I'm ethnically Tamil. So I kind of like mixing a bit of those languages in there. I used to watch a lot of kind of Asian rap. I'm not gonna lie, kind of 88 Rising did kind of inspire me. I'm not sure if anyone knows that. Higher Brothers I loved, like the Chinese rappers. And yeah, there was like, I've just seen like a lot of like quality multilingual rap. Also just like YouTube as well. So I think I've always found, I just really enjoy the challenge of like learning different languages and putting it forward in my music. And I feel like when I do it, it's just to illustrate parts of who I am. Like I am Tamil, and like I have lived in Japan. I have like a big connection to Japanese language and people, just because of my family. And I think that when I'm rapping in these different registers, I'm trying to illustrate that in like a natural way, as opposed to just being like, oh, look what I can do, look at all the languages I can speak. Because I think like theoretically I can make a song in like 7 different languages, each line a different like language or whatever, and that could be fun, that could be cute. But that's not really what I'm interested in doing. I'm interested in kind of creating a sound and aesthetic that matches me specifically, because I'm an egomaniac and like I love myself. And I love like creating art about myself.
How did you pick your like stage name and / or your like actual name, you know?
Yeah. Well, I might change one or both of those at some point, but I picked my current name, htmljones, like my stage name, as a tribute to JPEG Mafia.
Oh, right.
Because he was a rapper that I was very inspired by. You can see the JPEG HTML connection there. He's kind of a bit of a waste man though, like at the moment, again, like hanging out with Kanye West. But I just really, I enjoy his music. I think his production's incredible. That was kind of what I was trying to be when I started out. And I think the longer that I've been on this musical journey, the more I kind of feel like I've established a musical identity that is very different from JPEG Mafia. So I feel like one day maybe I will change it, who's to say.
And how did you like choose the name Ishaani?
Oh,
if you don't mind.
Yeah,
answering
no,
that.
of course. It's just one of the most popular Tamil girl names. It's very basic. It has a few letters in common with my dead name as well. So I was like, okay, it's going to be easy to get people on board. It's easily pronounceable. I like 2 A's. I like having 2 A's in my name. I think that's cute. And yeah, it was it's such a boring decision, because I feel like so many people have these stories about how they chose their name, where like they ask like their relative and like it's been bestowed upon them, or they choose something which is important to them, like a character that they really like, or like something to do with nature. But for me, I was literally just going through spreadsheets of baby name day, and I was like, okay, what looks like realistic? What's a realistic name that I could have had? And that's kind of what I went for.
Yeah, it just feel like every trans person has to have like a insane story of I opened the fortune cookie and it said you will be Lucy forevermore.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's like, no, some of us we just looked at a list of names and picked one.
Stay tuned for more with HTML Jones.
Look lately, run it back and hit freeze. You were born in daydreams. Why do you matter so much to me?
I'm trans and exhausted.
You can still fuck it up at the worst rate ever, worst rate ever, worst rate ever. You can shake that tail at the worst rate ever and ever and ever. You can get down low at the worst rate ever, worst rate ever. You can be like, yeah, whatever, whatever, whatever.
I changed my name like a couple of times legally, and for some reason cis people seem to think that like trans people like just pick one name and like transition instantly, you know, like the memes like where, you know, you press the button, you turn into a cat girl or whatever, you know, like, you know, you do this one thing and it's done and forever, you're forever this, but like there just feels like there's so much pressure to me about that. Like I have to be this person forever now. I can never change my name again. I can.
Yeah, you're incapable of growth. You're just stuck like this forever.
Yeah.
It's no. I completely relate to that. I think it's something telling that I think the very limited acceptance that we as trans women can get is kind of at the cost of being pushed into a very prescriptive binary sort of transition, where it's like, okay, you have to like do like a real life experience for 2 years, then you change your name, you get like everything, so all the surgeries at once, and then that's it. That's it for the rest of your life. You're stealth, and that's like the kind of
what was that?
best way to.
What was that? Emilia Perez.
Right.
She gets all the surgeries at once.
Yeah,
like how unrealistic is that?
I mean, she was like a drug lord, so I guess she got money like that.
Yeah, I guess. But like,
crazy.
I mean, NHS doesn't even cover like.
Yeah, 44-year wait, I think, at the moment
for
the GIC.
What, like in London or?
No, in England. I think it's a 44-year wait in England and a 124-year wait in Scotland. So it's just not happening. Do DIY. It's DIY or die. Like,
so is that's what you do then? Is it?
Yeah, I inject myself with bathtub chemicals. Yeah.
You what?
I inject myself with bathtub chemicals.
Is that how they make it in a bath?
Yeah.
Like actually?
Yeah.
Because I'd heard that, but I thought that was just like a meme or something.
No, you can make it in a bath. Yeah. If you get like kind of like a lot of like Brazilian estrogen, that's definitely bathtub food for sure.
There was a clip in one of your recent music videos where it looked like you were injecting something, and I assumed that was estrogen.
Yeah. That was my weekly shot. Yeah, I was like, it'd be cute to put it in because it's a part of my life.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes hard as fuck as well.
It's like, I'm injecting,
yeah,
doing drugs, fuck the system.
Exactly. And that's my vibe. That's my vibe. I'm not gonna touch the mic. Yeah.
So for those watching who don't know, Ishaani actually does a lot of interviews herself of other musicians and notable people on her YouTube channel. But do you think there's like a difference between people who watch you online, people who like come to your gigs, or do you think it's mixed or?
100%. And I think also that it's not important to point out, but it's relevant to point out that I think most of my social media growth and explosion, if you will, like how I got kind of like the biggest amount of followers so far has been just during COVID, because I was posting 12 times a day on TikTok. And I think I got like just a very broad audience from that, because a lot of people who were watching that sort of content weren't necessarily interested in like hyperpop or like the music that I was making. They were just like, oh, this like person is funny or like political or like annoying. And that like did well for me. But I think there's just been, as I've come into myself, I've just hemorrhaged so many followers. And I'm glad that I have, like, because there was a point in time where I think even back in 2020, like someone who would recognize me or like come up to me in the street or whatever would just be like, oh my god, like I love you so much because of like this thing you said about my university in a video. And they would always be like a white bisexual cisgender person who was, not all of them, but a lot of them were trying to move to me, you know.
Like wanting to date you.
Yeah. And I was like, this is bad. Like I went on dates, I would go out with people and they would tell me that they watched my TikToks on like the second date. And I'm like, please be upfront about that sort of shit. And I was like, it was just a really weird time for me. And then when I just kind of shifted to doing basically just music and like focusing on being myself, then the audience changed completely. And now it's like almost exclusively trans girls and like brown people. So I'm like, it's great.
Your interviews in a way, to me, kind of feel like they're sort of bridging the gap between TikTok and more kind of long form content as well, because you edit like a lot of memes into the videos. So, you know, like I have ADHD. So, you know, that like keeps my brain stimulated the entire time.
I'm
you
so
know, it's not just an interview, you know, there's a lot of like editing and yeah, like it keeps people engaged in that way. But
yeah, thank you. I just also, I have a very low attention span. I feel like my brain has been rotted by the internet since I was young. And I feel like if an interview is going to be interesting for me, especially if it's one that I'm doing myself, I'm like, I have to have a million things on screen at all times. Otherwise, I'm just not interested. And it's like, by making it kind of watchable for myself, I'm making it kind of more watchable for other people, hopefully, or at least they're getting something out of it. So many people are like, what the fuck is this? I can't read anything. This is so like annoying. Like none of these memes make any sense. But I like it. I like the vibe of it. I think it's funny.
People actually say that. People say none of these memes make any sense.
Yeah, people are like, oh, they're on screen for half a second. I can't read them. And I'm like, yeah, that's the point. Like,
you know,
that's why I made it half a second.
Then you need to learn the YouTube shortcuts of how to pause the video, how to go through frame by frame.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm falling in love with the corporate illustration. I'm falling in
What's your process of like writing music, creating music? Because I think normally other people produce your songs. Is that right?
No, I usually produce all of my own stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's only been recently. I think my most recent song was produced by Stuck in Waveforms, like Kill Switch, which is really I really enjoy that song. But no, most of the stuff that like I'm releasing an EP at the end of this month, which is all me. British Girl EP as well. So I think it
Oh, actually, didn't know that.
It varies. Yeah. But yeah, I really enjoy producing. I just I open up FL Studio and fuck around. I produce
nice.
for other people as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm just trying to what's the advice Sophie said? She said trying to make the most brightest, exciting music. That's what I'm trying to do. I think she said that about music, and I think that's a slay. So
Love that. Got to quote Sophie in the interview.
exactly, of course. That's mother.
Oh, rest in peace. How do you start making a song? Like, do you write the lyrics first? Do you start making the instrumental first, or?
So I've talked to a few people about this. I always start with the melody first, and kind of then I'll sometimes I start with the drums, but it's always the music is what I start with, and then much later on I'll start fitting lyrics to that melody. But I know so many other people who do it in reverse. A lot of people start with lyrics and then they work on a song after. But for me, it's always made more sense to focus on the music first. I think that's kind of what a lot of people are immediately hit by with something, whereas lyrics kind of take a little longer to steep, I think, in someone's mind. So I think I tend to focus on it at the end once I kind of have a sense of what vibe the song is, just the emotional journey of the song, just from how it sounds.
How did you get into producing?
I just pirated FL Studio when I was 14. I haven't looked back since.
So you just kind of self-taught, or watch YouTube tutorials?
Completely. Yeah, YouTube tutorials, all of that. I don't really have a huge amount of formal music training or music theory knowledge, but I've just been doing this a long time and I enjoy it.
I'm Olivia Campbell-Cavendish, and you're watching T4T Network.
One shot, one kill, fuck a reload. Scream, take your heart out of behold. I'm in love with the thought of you. Toss a frag to the sky, let your aim be true. Yeah.
Huh. I guess now that I think about it, I am a girl kisser. Kissing women is just so hot, you know? I kind of feel bad for straight girls.
You might know this one. It's called British Girl. It's about being a British girl in this country where at least 70% of people don't recognize you as either, I would say, conservatively. And I rap and sing it Tamil. It's featuring Saint Rav, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Tamil girl, got no money, gonna change our world. Say you love a Darcy's gonna take the wheel. Oh, you think I liked it? Money over fish, you get the idea, yeah. British girl, lots of money, so she makes you home. And you fucked up for money just to cop a feel. Oh, you think I liked it? Let you turn me up, cause I'm the worst shit, yeah. And I'm the edge of Eddie Bar. Correct, I find myself in the man, I'll come to that and nothing lie, yeah. Boy, before, under my spell. Maybe you'll go,
Won't go de por padre, no te nare. Pretty or don't say the tare, cara never need I.
Time will go, golden money gonna change the world. Say a little dog, he's gonna take the wheel. Oh, you think I liked it? Money, I've been fishing in the idea. And I don't enter any bunker. I found myself a phenomenon, come to that left layer. But I don't care. Touch me up, cause I'm not watching.
It's htmljones, bitch.
Thank you, I've been HTML Jones.
To be drowning in love for yourself is to offer your heart to the earth. All God's creatures leaving prints of light. To behold your reflection is to hold all of life.
Vanilla Coke, I drink that. Welcome, I wrote that. Dash Records, I listen to that.
Cause everything can be right as rain when you listen to the dragonfly. You don't have to smile, and even if you cry, there's still a heart inside. And it might not get much easier.
Yet acceptance doesn't mean defeat.
Still I come out each time much stronger. Oh.
And that's how you play the game.
'Cause the music never stops. Little canary, just what you came, baby, what you feel. To lock yourself under the weight that you carry is a magic you have in a digital flower field.
Gentlemen, that was textbook.
3, 2, 1, sing a song about life.
And even if your heart's in the right place, sometimes the answer is a greater change. Get comfy, but don't wait. Your target's in range.
Fuck it, let me hear a solo. There's a place in your mind where every dream resides. Let it out, scream and shout. It's your own damn life. Can't change those marks, but you can.